The Avengers Endgame project continues again. As promised, after completing my first two Mandalorian Season 2 custom minifigures, I am back on track working on the next Avengers Endgame showcase. I know for many of you it has become a meme, but for me, it has been my ongoing project since 2019 and a project that I have never lost the passion for. Making all my favorite Avengers from the culmination of the entire Infinity Saga has never really been time sensitive for me. It's not like the MCU is really going anywhere anytime soon at the moment either, so as I've said before, rushing this project to the finish line has never really been my intention. That being said, over this past week, I have made a lot of new progress on Thor from, well, Avengers Infinity War and the beginning of Avengers Endgame. But hey! Bro Thor, why you no make? Why you no like? Why you hate fat people? Well, first of all, I'm fat. I didn't like Bro Thor. I waited 6 years for the culmination of the Infinity Saga, only for the writers to take his Thanos PTSD a little too far, making him that overweight for the finale of all 20 million movies we had religiously followed since 2008 was kinda disappointing. The Russos and the writers must have been like, yo, we can make him a little heavier and a little more, or we can just go full Lebowski, man. Then the Avengers are basically bullying the guy with crippling depression like the whole movie.
Cheese whiz.
Not everyone has their together, Rhodey. Maybe some people made one quick choice that cost trillions of lives across the known universe. Either way, I think doing Fat Thor in Thor 4, Love and Thunder or something would have been more fun with Taika Waititi doing it instead. It made sense, but they took it too far in my opinion in Endgame, and it was just too much for the big finale. Wasn't a fan. Then some of you may also be wondering, well, you made this really good Thor for Infinity War, and it's like, that one I think is super outdated. Not only was it made based on trailers, so it doesn't have the chainmail arms or the replacement eye or anything, but I mean, it's literally like a flat torso, just all paint, and then the Stormbreaker sculpt by AV Figures has obviously since become outdated now that we got a much better look at it, in 2018 and over the last couple of years. So I mean, it wasn't long after Infinity War before I was like, man, I really wish I could go back and do Thor again. But to me, the Thor that I'm making now is my definitive Thor from the end of Avengers Infinity War, when Thor was at his best and had one of the best moments in the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe. So what's the deal with mine? Well, I've had this Stormbreaker that you can already see here for well over a year. I think at this point it's a knockoff Stormbreaker, but it is the perfect piece, and I cannot wait to paint it up finally after all this time. That being said, I have absolutely no idea who made it, but also one thing I wanted to touch on was the hairpiece and the shoulder pauldron. I got these from, I believe it was UD Bricks over on Instagram, and these are separate pieces or replacement part pieces actually from the Feelings minifigure Thor, I believe. Really amazing custom minifigure that those guys made. I missed out at the time, and also they're wildly expensive, of course, and thankfully though, I managed to get these pieces separately sold to me, and that was really, really cool because this hairpiece and this shoulder pauldron are better than anything I was going to do. Like I said, over this past week, I've been doing a lot of sculpting work on Thor here, and so that includes the chainmail armor wrapped around each arm, and I mentioned this over on my Patreon, but this took multiple failed attempts before I decided to just hand engrave the entire pattern and not try any crazy techniques, and thankfully that actually wound up working out really well. The chainmail arms are not perfect by any stretch, and as a matter of fact, there are quite a few imperfections within them, but I am really satisfied with how they look, and I know once I have them painted up, all those different little imperfections are going to blend right in with the rest of the paint. And one thing I did last night actually was sculpt the additional definition you see on for the muscles there, and so that includes like the upper shoulders and then also the biceps, and that was really interesting and unique because I had the chainmail already on there sculpted and engraved in place, and so actually integrating more of that was interesting because I had to try to make it look as seamless as I could, and I think I achieved that here. I'm pretty happy with how these arms have turned out, and I cannot wait to paint them up. And also, as I'm sure you've noticed throughout the video, I did some very simple sculpting on the torso here, and that's simply because I intend to paint the majority of the detail where I can on this torso. I'm kind of a big believer that not everything needs to be sculpted on a Lego minifigure. Not every single little section needs to be on there and hand engraved. I think allowing for more painted detail where necessary, and instead of just making literally everything everything pop is actually a good, healthy balance to maintain within custom minifigures. I know not everyone agrees, but that being said, that's gonna do it for this quick making of video for my new Thor from the beginning of Avengers Endgame, and I cannot wait to continue working on these. But of course, we just had some pretty huge reveals in The Mandalorian Season 2. Spoilers if you're not a Star Wars fan and you intend to watch the series, but Bo-Katan made her live action debut. The parts are already on the way. The casts from LM9 Productions. I cannot wait to get started on that custom minifigure, and soon Ahsoka Tano, Rosario Dawson's Ahsoka Tano, as she finally makes her live action debut after the past 15 years of only ever seeing her as an animated character. So I'm really looking forward to diving into working on all these custom minifigures, because I do intend to strike a balance between Avengers Endgame and more Mandalorian Season 2 customs in the coming months. So that is all I really wanted to say for this video. But if you want to be the first to see all the progress on my new custom minifigures like Thor here, who I just posted pretty recently over on the Patreon, and also all those Mandalorian Season 2 progress updates that went up well before the showcase, was a ton of fun. Anyway, all of that is available if you'd like to consider supporting the channel that way, and I always enjoy sharing what I've got so far with everyone over there. I think it's a great time, but otherwise you can still find me over on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Of course, as always, I mention it too much for all my digital Photoshop edits and teasers as well, which I think are pretty great. I don't recommend this stuff for nothing. I personally think it's kind of cool. I like to think so, but that's gonna do it. Thank you all for watching. Please stay safe out there. Take care. Keep creating. And I almost said this is the way, but this is assemble.